The motion, which came under matter of urgent public importance at plenary on Thursday, was sponsored by Honorable Aisha Duku from Gombe State. The former Minister of State for Education says there is the need to save the country from another round of embarrassing NASU strike, which will not do any good to tertiary education in the country.
Speaker, thank you, my very respected colleagues. The House notes that the Joint Action Committee of the non-teaching staff in the universities has directed its branches to mobilize its members for a nationwide protest which started on Monday, 15th July 2019, before embarking on a strike action. The House also notes that the action of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions is as a result of the federal government's refusal to recall sacked workers of staff schools and the alleged discriminatory attitude of government against non-teaching staff. Concerned that SANU and NASU also decried exclusion of its members from workings of the National University Pension Commission, NUPENCO, solely operated by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Further concerned that at the alleged preferential treatment extended to ASU by the federal government, as seen in the recent allocation of money by the Ministry of Education, signed by the Director of Tertiary Education, allocating 80% of the money to ASU and only 20% to the non-teaching staff unions. The House observed that the way and manner the money is being shared is contrary to any known accounting procedure and any known international best practice.
While supporting the motion, other lawmakers were worried that the students bear the brunt more whenever this strike occurs, since strike affects the calendar of the institution.
By being very proactive and stopping the impending strike so that our children will remain in school. Mr. Speaker, you are aware that several universities are springing up, even in our neighboring countries like Benin Republic and the rest of them. Some of these universities are even fake universities. But because our children have been held home for several years after finishing secondary school and they entered university, they have no time in hand to say, I entered the university last year, I will finish in 2 or 3 years' time. And so because of that, they resort to getting admission into any kind of university that is available to them. And at the end, they produce half-baked manpower and still push it back into our society. We still remain at the receiving end. And I think if we are able to do something very urgently to stop this impending strike and to keep our children in school, it will go a long way in saving us from such problems in the long run.
Mr. Speaker, the issue is between the non-academic staff union and the government. I think government entered some certain agreements. I will be calling in support of this motion that those agreements should be positively reviewed now in line with the actual situation in the country. Mr. Speaker, we also informed that another problem is the sharing formula by Nigerian-University Commission, 80% to 80%. Mr. Speaker, we'll have same here. You are aware of what I'm saying. I won't go into details. We'll have same here. May I ask, what are the functions of academic union? What are the functions of non-academic union? I mean, I should think that the body in intervening, we should also try to review the cause of the problem. I'm not against non-academic staff, but we should also be reasonable. They don't go into research. They don't go into real academic pursuits that are demanding. So it's like they're asking for more of the university budget. I mean, we should also be mindful so that we don't embolden any group, anybody, to hold anybody to ransom.
Just yesterday, we were discussing cultism and the root causes of cultism. They said an idle mind is the devil's workshop. When these students, if this strike goes on, these students go back home, they become idle. That's why, Mr. Speaker, we can't fail them. We must rise up to our responsibilities and fight for them, because we are the voice for the voiceless. And Malcolm X said something. He said that education is the passport to the future. These children are the future of Nigeria. How we mold them, how we protect them, how we educate them matters. And it matters for Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, we can't mortgage our future. We have to stand for them. We have to fight for them. And this motion, I support this motion in its entirety.
While also calling for a review of the cause and areas of disagreement. The motion was adopted by a resounding vote by members when put to vote by Speaker Femi Bajabiamila at plenary. Magdalene Palmer, Voicetv Nigeria.